エヴァ、わしらも頭を冷やすべきとちゃうか。レシートの件は確かにお父さんの失踪を探る上で重要な手がかりになると思うで。警察が来たら話すといいやろ。
そうね。そう。レシートの一件でつい鬼の首を取ったような気持ちになっちゃったのね。確かに夏日姉さんだけを疑うのはフェアじゃないわ。私たちだって等しく疑わしい。でもね、バトラ君、レシートの話だけは本当よ。これ忘れないでね。そしてこれがどういう意味を持つか、もう一度よく考えてみてね。
However, Uncle Hideyoshi stood up. It looked like they planned on leaving the parlor.
結局私たちはこんな推理ごっこしても意味はないのよ。だってどうせ警察が全て明かしてくれるんですもの。
That's right. Even if we don't play this detective game, the typhoon will pass. And when those lively seagulls return to the harbor, everything will solve itself. That's right. If you think about it, this kind of crime is completely trivial. It will definitely be resolved. Even if they do nothing. When the seagulls cry. Stay tuned for the next episode of Umineko When They Cry.
これ以上夏日姉さんも私の顔を見ていたくはないでしょう。私も同じよ。確か姉さんは昨日ゲストハウスに帰らなくて済むようにって客室を用意してくれたのよね。あそこはバスもトイレもあるし、鍵もチェーンもかかる。横になれるベッドもあるし、主人もマリアちゃんとチャンネル争いをせずにテレビを見ることができるわ。
お好きになさるといいでしょう。でもくれぐれも用心を。
ありがとう姉さん。そして余計なお世話よ。姉さんはみんなの監視をよろしくね。犯人はこの中に必ずいるんだから。そして姉さんも自分が監視をされていることをお忘れなく。
捨て台詞はそれで十分ですか？
ええ、十分よ。じゃあね、夏日姉さん。源氏さん、夕食になったら呼んでね。それまでチェーンをかけて閉じこもってるわ。
源氏、かの、お二人を客室までお送りを。
結構よ。送り狼なんて嫌だもの。むしろ私たちが部屋に行くまで誰もこの部屋を出ないでくれる方が安心よ。ジョージ行くわよ。
僕はここでみんなといるよ。
ジョージ、この部屋に犯人がいるのよ。そんなところにいるつもり？
この部屋を出るということは親族の誰かを疑うのと同じことだよ。僕はあんな恐ろしいことができる人間が親族にいるなんて信じない。
ジョージ、あなたからも言ってやってよ。
ジョージももう一人前の男や。そのジョージの仁義がこの部屋から出えへん言わせるなら、それも勝手やろ。好きにさせたれ。
父さん。
Whatever Uncle Hideyoshi left. I mean, I guess so. Eva would be worried about George in this situation as well. And the only voice that called after them was the sound of the rain. I mean, Hideyoshi definitely is worried about George too, but It is George's call, after all. So yeah, I guess so. I guess Eva and Hideyoshi are gonna be locked up in their own room, all safe and sound. The party was being buried beneath the savage atmosphere. When I looked at the clock, I was surprised to find that it was already evening. Damn. Have we really spent that much time worrying about needless things? Talking with each other, fighting with each other? Feeling bored, I started scratching at my head when Maria and I made eye contact. What's up, Maria? I was a little surprised, since I thought she was completely immersed in the TV. Yeah, she was really immersed in her TV. Even when we had that fight, and some gunshots were about to be traded. If things were gonna go down south even more.
今なら信じるぜ。手紙も殺人もすべてベアトリーチェの仕業だ。いや、むしろ頼むからそうだと名乗り出てほしいぜ。19人目の仕業ってことにさせてくれ。じゃなきゃ俺たち18人はいつまでも互いを疑い合わなくちゃならねえ。これなら19人目の存在を信じる方がマシさ。
Truly, now that you think about it. What's worse than having a witch be the killer in all this is suspecting us 18, that one of the 18 people would be responsible for this. In similar fashion to how I want to believe that somebody is possessing you, Maria, that you are Beatrice inside, in which case, get the fuck out of Maria, goddammit! Beatrice!
扉も窓も開けずにじいさまを外へ連れ出すなんて。ベアトリーチェならお茶の子さいさいなんだろう。
Maria, after taking a single short breath, hung her head, and then raised her face again.
そうだよ。魔女の前に扉の鍵なんて何の役にも立たないんだよ。ベアトリーチェは72中のすべてに精通する。
72 demons.
33位のガープは望む相手を望む場所へ瞬時に運ぶ力を与えるし。
The 33rd ranked Gop has the power to instantly carry the desired person to any location.
彼女にとってどのような密室に閉じこもった人間だろうと連れ出すことは難しいことでも何でもないんだよ。
魔女はすげえな。頼むから、もしまだ事件を起こす気なら絶対に人間には無理なことをして俺に19人目を、いや魔女の存在を信じさせてくれよ。
いいよ。あったら伝えておくよ。
Crap. Nothing's made sense to me for a while now. Just when I want to believe in the 19th person, I deny it. And just when I want to believe that there are only 18 people, I deny that too. Even though I want there to be more than just the 18 here, I cannot accept the existence of that 19th person. In short, even though there are more than 18 people, there are less than 19 people. The number of people in this mansion is 19, bigger than X, bigger than 18. So it's 18.5. It's a cross between a human and a witch. So the number of people can be represented by an integer. However, it's impossible for there to be anything after the decimal point. You shouldn't be able to show the number of people with anything but an integer. And yet, 19 is bigger than X, and X is bigger than 18. Math. How do you explain the fraction less than 1? It's no wonder. That 19% was something that couldn't be seen. That's why, since you can only write the number of people as an integer, you could see that person. And that which cannot be seen. Because Beatrice has no body. Therefore, she is invisible. Is there a 19% or not? Does the witch exist or not? 19 bigger than X, bigger than 18. The witch exists somewhere in that X. X marks the spot. It's the red X on the treasure map. We have to follow the treasure map, Battler, in order to find the golden land. The uncomfortable atmosphere continued even after those two left. It was thick with the idea that simply thinking about the culprit's identity would be the same as deciding whom to suspect. I had begun to feel like discussion of the case was itself taboo. So no one mentioned the case, at least out loud. However, those thoughts were what filled our minds. All that we couldn't say aloud made our hearts feel like they were going to explode. So, at least on the outside, the parlor had once again regained its calm mood. Everyone was left unsettled.
少しだけ雨足が弱まった気がするね。
まだいっぱい降ってるよ。おお。
仮にやんだってこの島には船がねえんだしな。船が明日すぐに来てくれりゃいいんだがよ。洋館バカンさんもうお腹いっぱいだぜ。
母さん、明日船はいつ来るのかな。
本来なら帰りの船は今日の3時に来てくれることになっていました。先方も台風が過ぎてから来直すと電話をしてくれたでしょうが、あいにく電話は普通ですから。でも向こうも子供の使いではありません。客人の方々の送迎目的だと教えてありますから、おそらく明日の朝一番で。
Alright.
多分9時頃くらいに来てくれるでしょう。
It was completely black outside. Unless the typhoon is still gonna continue, even after that. I mean, who knows? Maybe this is also Beatrice's doing. And the rain and the typhoon will never stop. We're gonna be trapped in here forever! Or at least until everybody gets killed. Which is definitely not the ending that I want. When I looked at the clock, I realized that it was just past 7. I was starting to get hungry. In the kitchen, Kumasawa was cooking enthusiastically. Hey there, Kumasawa! She had laid out a variety of dishes, and while they didn't match the level of Goda's artful cooking, it was still quite gorgeous. I mean, you know what? I think that the mood right now, while still a little bad, is still a lot better than what we had this morning, so nonetheless, the food will definitely taste great, Kumasawa. It was an act of kindness from Kumasawa, who was trying to enliven everyone's low spirits with some food. I'm sure that the food will be just fantastic. Made with heart. Kumasawa wasn't nearly as talented as a professional cook like Goda, but she was far from unskilled. On the contrary, since she had been brought up in a fishing village, the food she created was sometimes highly praised. Kanon arranged the food Kumasawa had finished creating on plates, under her direction. Kanon also helped in the kitchen sometimes, but since he was rarely placed in that role, he was slightly awkward, even though he tried his best. Self-conscious about the fact that he couldn't cleverly arrange the food, Kanon's expression darkened slightly. Oh. But Kumasawa smiled as though everything was fine.
きれいに盛り付けられてますよ。 カノン君もお上手ですよ。
シャノン姉さんだったらもっと綺麗に。
Kana stopped raining food for a bit and hung his head. Shannon was the one who always assisted Kumasawa in her cooking. Tonight, Kanan was doing it instead. And as he remembered Shannon's face in her brutal end, he grimaced. Genji spoke kindly to Kanan as he advanced upon. Nanjo had escaped from the parlor once the moon had grown sour, and Genji had become his opponent in a game of chess upon Nanjo's request.
はい。今は忘れます。
それがいいだろう。
Genji purposely refrained from facing Kana as he spoke. He did so because he understood that it might make things tougher on Kana if he noticed that someone was looking at his eyes. Nanjo also understood that and held back any thoughtless words.
金蔵さんもどこへ行かれたんでしょうな。ご無事だといいのですが。わかりません。ただ、すべては親方様が望まれ、仕組まれたことのように思っています。
Yeah, it does make me wonder. It did seem from the start that Kenzo had some form of plan about what is about to happen. And if we were to go with the possibility that we discussed before in the parlor, that Kenzo disappeared after the doors were open, it would seem that that is also part of his plan, that he did it intentionally. But for what reason, I wonder? Especially if I am to think about it from a magic perspective, if I am to go with a magic approach over here, about what Maria told us before. Beatrice apparently is in cahoots with these demons. And Maria did mention a demon called Gop, like the 33rd demon of some sorts, that has the power that can make Beatrice go to any location, from what I understood. In which case, it makes me think that Beatrice has her limits in magic, and she needs her demons to do some of the stuff for her, or help her in some situations. And if this whole thing is true about this Gop demon that is capable of teleporting, like in any location, then yeah, I guess so. Even with Kenzo locking the door all tight with the toughest door in the world, Beatrice would be able to get inside, no problem, if she wanted to. In which case, yeah, even in that situation, Kenzo is definitely not safe. So, I guess that's one reason for him to just run away.
それを邪推することは、親方様にお仕えする家具には過ぎたことです。源氏さんは怖くないのですか？私には今夜まだ何か良くないことが起こるような気がして怖いのです。
Yeah, I am thinking that too. Something surely will happen this night too. Possibly in the second Twilight.
怖いことなど何も。私はただ後ろ宮家にお仕えするだけですので。
Nanjo sighed through his nose and made a carefully considered move. Nanjo was very slightly dubious. Could Genji possibly be thinking that he'd be left out of this? He couldn't even imagine what was happening inside this mansion. But but he definitely couldn't deny the possibility that Kenzo had devised something. If you liken this island to chess, Kenzo had opened the game, and as a result, 6 pieces had been defeated. Could it be that Genji was calm because he believed he alone was on the outside of the chessboard, and therefore safe? A.k.a. the possibility that we discussed, that he lived. Could it be that he left the island? How? There is still this typhoon. Unless, again, we're delving into magic territory over here. Maybe he teleported himself. Maybe he poofed out of here. Like, poof! Never thought about it. Isn't everyone just a piece on this chessboard, lined up equally, without any exceptions? Wasn't even Genji, who had gained more of Kinzo's trust than anyone. No, who was confident of his position as Kinzo's only close friend. Just another one of the pieces laid out on the chessboard?
源氏さん、私は今夜が本当に怖いのです。無事に明日の朝を迎えられることを心より願っています。
The guest room Eva and Hideyoshi moved into had originally been built to house guests before the guest house's construction. So until a few years ago, they had stayed in these rooms every family conference. They were very familiar with them. This room was just like a room at a hotel, with a bedroom and a bathroom. So even though they were still shut in, it was far more comfortable than the parlor, that's for sure.
やっぱり家族だけだとリラックスできるな。他のみんなも客室にこもって鍵をかけてりゃええんや。
夏日姉さんが客間を出るなって威張り散らしてるんだもん。誰も口答えなんてできないでしょ。あの人ずーっと冷や飯を食ってきたから兄さんが死んでやっと天下が来たって張り切ってんのよ。まったくずうずうしいったらあるしな。
まあそう言うな。夏日さんもあれで結構頑張っとるんやで。お前もそう突っかからんでもええやないか。さっきのレシートの件もあそこまでは言い過ぎやで。
だってあそこで言わなかったらもう言うタイミングがないんだもん。
Eva, sulking cutely and looking at the television, sat alongside Hideyoshi, who was lying on the bed.
でも、こうして二人きりになるのはずいぶん久しぶりよね。
そうやな。思えばわしもお前も老けたもんや。ジョージが生まれてから何もかもがあっという間や。
本当にあっという間よ。子供を作るの焦りすぎたかしら。
Eva's eyes looked like they were staring off into the distance. Yes, she had thought of it as a once-in-a-lifetime chance. Her older brother Kraus had been unable to father a child for quite some time. 6 years passed after his marriage to Natsuhi without any signs of pregnancy, which didn't please Kinzo at all. Eva herself had thought that, since her name would be moved outside the Ushiomiya register when she got married anyway, it didn't matter whether a successor to the headship was born or not. And then, one day, she had a heavenly revelation. Or maybe it was the whisperings of the devil that she had listened to in her greed. If she could give birth to a successor first, Wouldn't she be able to remain at the Ushinomiya register? If things went well, might she have a chance to inherit the Ushinomiya family herself? When she proposed this to Hideyoshi, he had approved of it instantly. This wasn't because Hideyoshi also had greedy thoughts. For Hideyoshi, who had no close relatives, it was a chance for him to feel once more the long-forgotten thing called family. So when they got married, he hadn't fussed over which last name they were to keep, and had quickly agreed to have his name entered into the Ushinomiya family register. It had been easy to persuade Kinzo, but as his daughter, Eva knew Kinzo's personality well. So, by choosing the time when Kinzo was most dissatisfied with Natsu, she was magnificently able to make him accept Hideyoshi as an adopted son-in-law. Looking at Hideyoshi, who had achieved success after studying from nothing, Kinzo might have seen a little bit of himself. He quickly grew to like Hideyoshi and approved his transfer into the Ushinomiya register. George would eventually become the successor to the Ushinomiya family. They had raised him strictly with that purpose in mind. He had been worth their while and had grown into a fabulous young man who wouldn't disappoint no matter where he went. That was why he had not been permitted to fall in love with a servant like Shannon. So when she learned that Shannon was dead and the engagement was now invalid, though part of her had still been shocked by the gruesome crime, part of her had also been relieved that her dear George wouldn't be stolen by some servant girl.
私、クラウス兄さんのことが昔から嫌いだったわ。偉そうで威張ってて。自分がやがては当主になるのだと自慢してて。だから、それに一矢報いてやりたかった。でも、それは子供の頃の感情なのよ。でもその感情は、結局、自分の人生のほとんどを支配した。それだけならまだいい。その感情は、あなたやジョージまで巻き込んで振り回してしまった。
エヴァ、備え自分を責めるな。
Hideyoshi got up and held Eva's shoulder. She could feel a warm understanding from him.
わしはな、自分の人生はもうとっくに折り返しに入っとる。でもな、今日までの生活を後悔したことは一度もないで。一度もや。エヴァと一緒で他の男どもじゃ味わえん楽しい人生になったと思っとる。戦争で身寄りを失ったわしにもう一度家族のぬくもりを教えてくれた。だから後宮の家には感謝しとるし、わしの唯一の家だと思っとる。わしとお前が歩んできた人生にな、無駄なことなんか何にもなかった。今日までほんまに楽しい人生やったで。
ありがとう、あなた。
Eva hung her head, burying her face in Hideyoshi's chest. Probably no one in the parlor could even imagine that this side of Eva existed.
感謝するのはわしや。今日までお前と一緒にいて後悔した日なんてあらへん。
私もよ。あなたと一緒になれてよかった。
ジョージももう立派な大人や。わしが見張ってなくてもしっかり仕事ができる一人前や。で、正月あたりをのんびりモルジブあたりで過ごさんか。わしら二人水いらずや。
いやよ。毎年年賀状の返礼で寝る暇もないとか言ってるじゃない。
次の正月だけはなしや。年賀状は黙って下のお年玉くじだけチェックするんや。 今年はカラーテレビくらい当てたいで。
やだ。モルジブでお年玉くじのチェックなんてしたくない。
じゃあそいつもなしや。水いらずのんびりでジョージが生まれる直前の新婚時代の続きをちょいとしてみんか。
それならいいわね。
モルジブはええとこらしいで。なんもない島に美しいサンゴ礁と水上コテージが並んでてな。
新婚時代の続きっていつからなの？
仕事納めしたらすぐや。旅行店に聞いてみんとわからんが、多分大晦日前には。
いや、今すぐがいい。
Eva neglected his lips in a peevish, yet flirtatious manner. The only sounds that filled the room were the distant voice of the announcer on the news, which Hideyoshi had left on, and the obnoxious pounding of the rain against the window. There was a knock on the door, and Genji-san entered.
奥様、お夕食の準備が整いました。お食事はまたこちらでよろしいですか？
ええ、ここへ運ばせなさい。南條先生はまだ厨房にいるのですか？
はい。次の一手を熟考したいとおっしゃっております。ご安心を。他の使用人たちとご一緒です。
源氏さんはじい様の相手ができるくらいチェスが強いもんな。南條先生よりも強いらしいぜ。
そうなんだ。昔相手をしてもらったことがあるけど、あれは勝たせてくれたのかな。
マリア、もうすぐ飯だそうだぜ。しかしよく一日中テレビを見ていて飽きねえな。
いつもテレビいっぱい見てるから平気。
Yeah, truly.
マリアちゃんはテレビっ子なんだね。
食事だから机の上を片付けないとダメだぜ。
Yeah. Earlier, we had torn several pages out of Maria's notebook, and there was now a mess where everyone had been drawing together. Jessica began cleaning that up quickly. Yeah, truly. Might as well keep all the drawings with you, Maria. Still, everyone here really can draw. I never guessed.
源氏、エヴァさんたちにもせめて食事くらい一緒にしないかとお声をかけなさい。どうせ断るでしょうが。
Yeah, chances are they will. But, yeah, might as well ask them.
かしこまりました。
お父様の次はエヴァさんですか。つくづく後宮家の食卓には全員が揃いませんね。
Natsuki felt her headache start throbbing again and lightly held her temples. Oh, poor Natsuki. The distance from the kitchen to the parlor wasn't that great, so Genji had gone and come back by himself. But the guest room was a little farther away. Natsuki had warned him to avoid being alone whenever possible. And just now, Nanjo had also admonished him, saying it would be better if he held a little more concern for his safety. Kanan accompanied Genji, and the two of them went to visit Eva and Hideyoshi in their guest room. I don't know, I mean, Genji does seem the type of person that no matter what threat comes to him, he will surely combat it no matter what. He probably knows a lot of martial arts like Eva. Genji knocked on the door.
エヴァ様、秀吉様。
Lunchy, lunchy! Dinner is ready!
お夕食の準備が整いました。
He waited a short while for them to come out. but there was no response.
源氏様、これは。
Kanon pointed under the door. A Western envelope had been inserted under it. Another one! Normally, when something was inserted this way, it could be interpreted as a message from someone outside to someone in their room. So, since this might be a private note meant for Eva and Hideyoshi, it was not something that Kano and Genji were supposed to take interest in. Although I'm definitely curious about it. Eva, Hideyoshi? But this Western envelope was one of Kenzo's. The same kind as the one Maria had taken out last night and surprised everyone with.
間違いない。親方様の封筒だ。
あるいは。
Even though this was one of Kenzo's envelopes, the letter Maria read aloud the previous night hadn't come from Kenzo. Genji continued knocking a little harder and called out in a loud voice.
エヴァ様、エヴァ様、源氏でございます。いらっしゃいますか。お返事をお願いいたします。エヴァ様。
But there was no response from inside. Sometimes when the servants went to call some guests for a meal, the guests would be sleeping so deeply that they wouldn't wake up. In times like that, the servants would stick a letter in the door to show that it was time to come out and leave the guests be. But despite that, Genji beat even harder on the door and called out Eva's name. However, there was no answer. Kano stuck his ear up to the door, held his breath, and listened for any sounds coming from inside.
テレビの音らしきものが。
The television is still on.
でも気配が感じられません。お部屋は空っぽかも。
Genji took out a handkerchief, and, careful not to touch it with his bare hands, gently pulled out the envelope that had been stuck under the door. It was sealed with deep red sitting wax. Without a doubt, the mark on that sitting wax had come from the Ushiromiya family's head ring.
エヴァ様、エヴァ様、どうかお返事を。もうお部屋にはいらっしゃいませんか。
There was still no answer. There was a chance that those two were aimlessly walking around the mansion. This was the home Eva had grown up in. There was plenty of reason to think that she had gone out on a casual stroll. Genji groped around in his pocket and pulled out the bundle of keys, which contained the key that would open the guest room.
源氏様。
Kano also understood what this meant. They would sometimes unlock the door so they could go in and do things like make the beds, but only after they made sure the guests were out. Yeah, well, we have to make sure of something else right now. There is no escaping it. We cannot just leave this be. To unlock the door for any other reason, and especially to do so when there was a chance the guests hadn't given permission and might still be in there, was an action unbecoming of a servant. But Genji had decided. If the only problem had been that this knock hadn't received a reply, he wouldn't have gone this far. But the envelope under the door was doubly one of Kenzo's. Or rather, one of the Western envelopes of the Ushiromiya family had. After last night, the sender of this envelope could be someone other than Kenzo. If this letter had been sent by someone else...
エヴァ様、申し訳ございません。お部屋を失礼させていただきます。
After giving that final notice, Genji stuck one of the keys from the bundle into the keyhole. There was the sound of the door unlocking, and after slowly turning the knob, he slowly started opening the door. Light seeped through the crack of the door. Were they in the room? Or had they forgotten to turn out the lights? There was the sound of the door chain being pulled tight. What? The chain had been secured. The chain couldn't be secured from the outside, so it also proved that they were in the room. The sound of voices on the TV seeped out of the room. The lights, the chain, and the TV. All these things made it clear that they were in the room. But there was no sign of them. Genji called to Eva once again through the crack of the door. But there was no answer. Eva? Hideyoshi? Come on. Come on, Hideyoshi, let me hear your your cutesy wootsy sound that you make from time to time. Let me hear your oh, please.
源氏様いかがしますか？
As part of their job, the servants were able to unlock almost any lock in the mansion. But they had no way to open the door with a chain. The only way to get by the chain was to cut it. Not necessarily not permitted as part of a servant's usual work. Creepy chill had already brushed up their backs. Kano held his breath again and tried to sense someone through the door. But even so, he was not able to sense anyone.
私は奥様をお呼びしてくる。カノンがチェーンの切断を。
はい。
As Kano hurried away to get a cutting tool, Genji called him to a stop.
待てカノン。厨房に戻り、熊沢と行動するように。断じて一人で行動してはならんぞ。
Truly.
はい。かしこまりました。
It looked like Kano was wondering why he had to do something so troublesome in the middle of this urgent situation. Genji had said it out of wariness. He didn't care what happened to himself, but in the worst case scenario, he didn't want anything to happen to Kano. In the kitchen, Kumasawa was piling food on the serving cart, and Nanjo was waiting for Genji. Apparently wanted to show him a move he'd finally thought of that might turn the tables on him. But Genji's appearance immediately told him that something was wrong.
おや、どうしましたか、源氏さん。
Well, apparently the show is starting once again, Nanjo, so we gotta get a move on.
南條先生、申し訳ありませんが、この勝負は一度中断させてください。カノンはチェーンを頼む。熊沢、食事の配膳は一時中断し、カノンと同行するように。私は奥様のところへ行く。南條先生もご一緒に。
何かあったんですかな。
Genji took Nanjo, who still didn't know what was going on, and quickly left the kitchen.
熊沢さん、申し訳ありませんが、僕と一緒に来てください。
何があったんですか、カノンさん。
Kumasawa said almost exactly the same thing as Nanjo, unable to take in the situation, and chased after Kano, who had flown out into the hallway. Taking Kumasawa with him, Kano went to a storage room and looked through the tools packed in toolboxes and hanging all over the walls, trying to find something that could be used to cut the chain.
何を探してるんですか。私も手伝いますよ。
ドアチェーンを切断するんです。大きめの番線カッターはどこだっけ。
ドアチェーンを。どうしてそんなことをするんですか。
エヴァ様たちのお部屋にチェーンが。中にいらっしゃるはずなのに、お声をかけても返事がないんです。
It took Kumasawa some time to figure out how cutting a chain and Eva and Hideyoshi no dancing were connected, but she did realize that this was an urgent situation.
これなら多分。
Kano took down a very large wire cutter that had been hanging on the wall. It was called a cutter, but maybe it'd be easier to understand if he said it was shaped like a large pair of pliers. Kano remembered once being warned that this dangerous tool could easily cut through one of your fingers. Oh boy, Kano took that and rushed up the stairs. He already knew instinctively. He should fight for every minute, every second to open it quickly. Or perhaps it was already...
待ってください、カノンさん。
早く。
Kumasawa eventually caught up with him, gasping for breath with both hands on her knees. When Kano changed his grip on the wire cutters and looked up at the door, he let out an ah, struck speechless.
何ですかこれは。
What? Kumasawa screamed weakly, her face pallid. This wasn't here before. That was no surprise, because right there on the door, Just like the magic circle that had been drawn on the shutter of the Rose Garden storehouse, there was another eerie shape drawn with a blood like paint. However, it would be odd to call this one a magic circle. What the hell is this? This looks like a door of some sorts. A wall and a door. And there are like segments with characters on them. Because unlike what most people would expect, it wasn't a mere circle with shapes drawn inside it. It was a slightly more complicated geometrical shape. However, those strange characters filling in the gaps, which weren't from the alphabet, were the same kind as the ones on that magic circle on the shutter. Huh. But the thing that had kind of stuck speechless wasn't how eerie the magic circle was. It was that something like this hadn't been here for a short while ago. Yeah. If it is what I think it is and the worst happened inside the room, this thing that was painted on the door surely wasn't here when the worst thing that had happened. First, he had taken a trip back to the kitchen. After that, he'd gone to the storage room to grab a tool and headed right back. Put those together and it couldn't have been more than 5 minutes. Huh. And this definitely seems quite complex. Yeah, it's made out of that weird substance that we've seen before. We did discuss how it would take quite some time for normal people to write a magic circle like that in the rain as well, and it would take some time. It was expertly done, and even this too. And for them to do that in 5 minutes? And who knows, maybe Genji and Kano would have came back like earlier than 5 minutes, like 2 or 3. There's no way that they would have been able to do this that fast. How could someone add something this creepy during that period of time? As though it had just been drawn, almost like the door itself was bleeding. Several unsettling vertical red lines slowly dripped down, getting longer and longer. Kumasawa's knees gave away, and she sank down on the spot. If Kumasawa had done this first, then Kano surely would have wanted to.
Beatrice 様の仕業ですよ。恐ろしや恐ろしや。
Kano gulped, then readied the wire cutter and approached the door. He didn't want to get close to this disturbing magic circle, and he really didn't want to touch the steadily dripping substance that looked like blood. But if he didn't get close, he wouldn't be able to cut the chain. Finding this cold feeling, he gulped again. And after gathering his courage, he went even closer, putting the wire cutter up against the chain. He then pressed with all his strength, managing to cut through the chain far more easily than he had anticipated. The cut chain fell into separate parts, which continued to clang as they swayed back and forth.
カノンさん、足元に封筒が。しかもこれは親方様のもの。
It looked like Kumasawa had also noticed the western envelope at the bottom of the door, and that the sitting wax had been sealed with the head's ring. Kano hesitated for just a second over whether he should open the letter first or check the inside the door, but he eventually decided on fulfilling his original purpose. Kano pulled a handkerchief out of his pocket, so he wouldn't leave fingerprints on the door. If his worst fears were realized, the police would want to investigate this room too. He slowly pushed the door open. He was able to more clearly hear the sound of the telephone, which had been seeping out faintly this whole time.
Eva-sama.
It was lying face up on the bed. On her bed with her shoes still on? Kumasawa, who had fearfully entered after Kanon, and who was hiding behind his back. screamed a short eek. And again when she saw Eva like that. Eva's shoes had been the first part of her that Kano had seen. The oddness of wearing shoes in bed was the first thing to strike him. But when Eva's head shifted into his line of sight, Kano couldn't help but let out a short scream like Kumasawa. Right in the middle of Eva's forehead, something had been placed? Something was growing there? No. Right in the center of her forehead. Was it an old-fashioned knife? That or some weapon like it was sticking out. At the base of where it was stuck in, blood dripped down, staining the sheets on the other side bright red. Kumasawa's knees gave way once more, and she sank down on the floor. Her mouth kept flapping open and closed. She couldn't even scream. Jesus Christ. Eva. Eva was dead. Some kind of weapon sticking out of her forehead. Both eyes were open wide, and the image of the person who killed her must have been burned into them. But the only mouth capable of naming that person had been shut for all eternity. Even though her forehead was the last place they wanted to look, they couldn't tear their eyes from it. Right there, the weapon was stuck into Eva's forehead, standing almost perfectly upright. And on the handle was a complicated design that you wouldn't expect to see on any ordinary weapon. Huh? That thing could be summed up with the word occult. It was a vulgar object, with a design that might have been some demon. Oh god, Hideyoshi! Eva was on top of her bed, but the other bed was empty. Where was Hideyoshi? Hideyoshi! Taking a backwards glance at Kumasawa, still on her knees and stupefied, he checked the bathroom just in case. At the moment he opened the door, it was created by steam and the sound of shower. The bathroom was of the same familiar style as most hotel bathrooms. When taking a shower, a waterproof curtain was used to keep water from flying out. That waterproof curtain was half open. No. Hideyoshi. Lying tumbled down in the bath was his Hideyoshi, completely naked, both eyes open. Oh, Jesus Christ. And pointing right at Kano. Just like Eva, a weapon with a demon-like design was stuck into his forehead. Since his head had been under the shower's hot water this whole time, his face wasn't half covered and filthy with blood like Eva's had been. But the sight of him dead while still taking a shower was tragic enough. Just then, they heard Natsuki's voice coming from the hall. She was probably coming with Genji. Let me see. Found on the bed of a guest room inside the mansion, with a weapon resembling an ice pick sticking out of her forehead. Found in the bathroom in the same guest room that Eva was on. Like Eva, there was a weapon resembling an ice pick sticking out of his forehead. You cannot see either of them by looking through the gap of the door while the chain is set. You can't see them, so you can't reach them. Hayes, how could a human possibly kill them? Hehehe. Oh, you can't be.
この手紙は中には何と
いえまだ読んでおりません
うかつに触らん方がいいですな犯人の指紋が残っとるかもしれん
Oh, George is gonna be destroyed.
警察に渡した方がいい
わざわざ手紙を残すくらいですどうせ指紋など残っていません
As Natsuki said that, she picked up the envelope. And before checking its contents, she entered the room herself, where she found Eva dead.
エヴァさん。奥様。こちらには秀吉様も。
これはむごいですな。
カノン、シャワーを止めてあげなさい。気の毒にも程があります。
はい。
Kanon gripped his handkerchief and twisted the valve, turning off the shower. In the bathtub, a small jar of body soap had fallen with its cap off. It really looked like he'd been attacked while taking a shower. There was still a small splash of blood clinging to the white bathtub, and the combination of red and white made a horrible contrast.
南條先生。
わかったな。市販は出とらんな。死後硬直も始まっとらん。おそらく殺されてから1時間経ったかどうかというところだろう。しかしこのような柄の短い凶器で頭蓋骨を考えられん。
Such a weird design like that, too. Nando checked their pulse and their pupils, making certain of their deaths once more. As Kanon watched this business-like treatment, he thought, couldn't you tell at a glance that they dead without doing all that? Nando thought about removing the weapon, but then decided it'd be better to preserve the scene and hand it over to the police, so he left it alone. But a close inspection of the base showed that it didn't have a blade. In fact, it was more conical than blade-shaped. He noticed that, rather than a knife, it was more like a short-handled spear. Something with a shape better suited for thrusting than slicing. Rather than a short spear, you might call it a thick ice pick. At any rate, after looking at the scene, no further words were needed to describe what sort of terrible purpose such eerily designed weapons were originally made for. Nor was it necessary to explain how they carried out their function. Natsu, hoping to escape the repulse of steam filling the bathroom as soon as she could, covered her mouth with a handkerchief and dashed from the room. Just viewing their gruesome bodies for an instant had been enough to burn the image into her eyes. If she looked any longer, that image would surely remain in her vision for all eternity. The rising urge to vomit was exactly the same thing she had that morning at the garden storehouse. For a while, Natsuki couldn't help but stand with her back facing the guest room, fighting that sickness in her stomach.
とにかくこの部屋を子供たちに。
Well, even if you don't want to let them, they're surely gonna think of the worst case scenario.
ジョージ君に見せるわけにはいきません。至急この部屋を閉じなさい。
Sorry, Eva. Higurashi. I'm gonna miss you. Both of you.
見せられませんとも。両親のこんなむごい姿をとてもジョージさんには。
But I could tell that those fiercely racing footsteps in the hallway belonged to George, even before he came dashing into the room. George and the other children had been waiting in the parlor. However, when they saw Genji speak to Natsu, when they saw her turn pale and fly out the parlor, they felt a sense of foreboding. Oh boy, here it comes. And when they saw a large group of people gathered around the guest room, they were sure of it.
父さん母さん
なんだよこれ。また魔法陣かよ。
エヴァおばさんたちは無事なんだよな。おいカノ君、これは何の騒ぎなんだ。
バトラ様。
Kanon didn't have to say anything. George's scream after he ran into the room told them everything they needed to know.
誰がこんなことを。殺してやる。殺してやる。
ジョージ君、しっかり。
Nazi touched George's shoulder with her hand, but he violently shook her off. George fell over beside Eva and buried his face in the bed in front of his mother's face, wailing. Then he pounded on the bed with his fist, over and over again.
ジョージ兄さん、しっかり。バトラ様。
Bedlam had his back against the wall the whole way, and was covering his eyes with his right hand and weeping without restraint.
ひでえぜ。心に決めた女を婚約した次の日に失った。同じ日に親父とおふくろまで殺されるなんてよ。そんなのあんまりにも無謀じゃねえか。
Of course, it's sad whenever anyone dies, no matter who it is. But to Balin, and those left alone by the deaths of others were far more worthy of pity. Everyone here now had lost someone close to them. George wasn't the only one to be pitied. However, George's pain was far greater than anyone else's. At this point, yeah.
バトラ。
そりゃよ、人はいつか死ぬぜ。人間誰だっていつかは死別の悲しみと戦わなきゃならねえ日が来るだろうよ。でもよ、そいつは兄貴にとってはずっと未来の話で、しかもそいつは一つずつ順番に訪れるべきもんじゃねえかよ。無ごすぎるぜ。やろう少しは人の情けってもんがねえのかよ。
バトラ、泣かない。
Maya tried to comfort Balor in a mechanical sounding voice. Balor finally wiped his tears.
くそ、もう流さねえぜ。悔し涙も悲しみの涙ももう二度と流さねえぜ。全然ダメだ。俺たちは魔女様に爪を食らってるわけだ。主勢一方ってわけだ。そりゃダメだぜ。全然ダメだ。チェス盤がひっくり返っちまうぜ。野郎は俺たち羊が明日まで逃げる手段もなく怯えてるだけだろうと思ってるだろうよ。だからひっくり返すぜ。明日までこの島から逃げられねえのは野郎も同じだ。
Truly. If the typhoon is gonna stop tomorrow, then we have a short time until we catch the criminal. Whoever did this. Otherwise, they are gonna escape, or it's all gonna end.
しょんべんちびりそうになりながら逃げ隠れするのは俺たちじゃねえ。野郎の方だ。暴いてやるぜ。必ずな。明日までに。いや、明日なんか待たねえ。今夜中にその胸ぐらを掴み上げてやる。